Rama 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 Ram 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 भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। This an hour of deep spiritual current, and we have been fortunate to sing His name with all of us together by His grace, which is no small grace. Bhagwan has emphasized many, many times the superiority, the supremacy of the sadhana, the nama chanting over every other practice. It is It is after many thousands of lives in the lower kingdom, the kingdom of the plant and trees, the animal kingdom, that we take birth as a human being. And we know this eating, sleeping, and multiplying are very common to both the animals and the humans. So what distinguishes the humans from the animals? The discrimination. To know what is good and what is bad. This discrimination tells us that we have to follow certain rules and regulations in life, what we call dharma. So our karmas are based upon this dharma, and that distinguishes the humans from the animals. Now, what do I mean by that? You take a cat, you may have kept some milk for the puja. Now the cat may enter stealthily, go straight there knowing the milk is there, and would drink up the whole thing. But then it does not incur any bad karma. It is not expected to know the dharma behind it. A dog simply walks into the open door. But if a man should do it, imagine what would happen. If a man should go stealthily into a house and drink up the milk, or he should enter a house that's open just because it's open. So the discrimination helps us in knowing what is good, what is to be done, and what is not to be done. And therefore, Bhagwan repeatedly said, the human life is based upon this dharma. And his karmas are based upon this dharma. So what should we do? Let us remember again and again what Bhagavan said about dharma. Remembering God is dharma, forgetting God is adharma. If you go to Kashi, when they carry the dead body, nobody would cry. People would be walking in the front and the back, but there would be no tears. Instead, people who carry the dead body would be saying, Rama Nam Satya Hai. Rama Nama is the only truth, everything else is Maya. So do not cry that the body is gone, but the soul continues to live. So Rama Nam Satya Hai. So it is only by remembering the name we remember God. Attaining God is not in our hands, but remembering God is very much in our hands. And therefore, we should keep on doing. In the beginning, we would do it for this want of ours or that want of ours, for whatever we desire. But later, we have to grow out of it, and remembering God should become our very nature. So let's keep on remembering the name of God, knowing that remembrance of God's name is the only purpose of life. Getting a job elsewhere with a decent salary, or studying to be an engineer or a doctor, it's all secondary. But then you have to do that also, but do it with the help of the name. And in doing so, you see that you transform. If you get more angry, if you get more fear and insecurity, you can be very sure it's all because of your ambitions which deviate you from God. God is the fundamental backbone of our life. He is the foundation of our very life. And we can seek His help for everything that we want. When that doesn't happen, despite our prayer and Nama chanting, you can be sure that God doesn't want it for you for some reason. For this moment, He may change His mind later. So let us use this discrimination to practice acceptance. And this acceptance will lead to surrender. Amidst all activities of life, we must remember it is He who is activating all of us into our living. And so, we shall remember Ram Nam Satya Hai. Everything else could be anyway according to the will of God, and the purpose of our life is to accept everything as it comes and take it as a blessing from God. And all through life, we have to remember the name of God. This we are going through every day from different aspects, from different angles. So today's angle is that we have been endowed with discrimination, and that is what distinguishes from the animals. And what is the purpose? And that is to remember God. God has given us this body, and He has given us food, the air to breathe, water to drink, and fire to cook our food and eat tasty foods. So everything that's possible for comfortable living has been done by God. We accept it readily and happily, but we should also know that we should be grateful to Him. Now today we shall offer our prayer. As He said, what dharma we deviated from, which led to what karmas we do not know, but that has invited today's situation. And the only way out of it is once again grace. Seeking grace, begging for grace. So we beg you 1,000,000 times, Bhagwan, for your immediate divine intervention to free the humanity from the grip of this Rakshasic viruses. We beg you for bringing normalcy in all aspects of life, in all places. We beg you to uproot, to wipe out all the negativities of the mind, so that the mind is filled with God's name and dharmic thoughts. And we beg you again to arrest the rapid spread of the disease, enter all those medicines appropriate so that you could kill all these viruses once for all. And we beg you to bring protection and all-round welfare to all those great warriors who have been struggling against all challenges at the very risk of their lives in order to save other lives. We beg you again for a boost to our economy. And finally, above all, we seek your blessings for constant remembrance of your name, your powerful, auspicious name, knowing it is the only truth of life. Today we are here, tomorrow we may be gone, but the name is ever living because Nama is Nami himself. And Nama is Kalpataru. If you know how to tap it, you can get everything done by it. You have to exercise patience and acceptance. We beg you, Bhagwan, to always remember that we are only instruments in your hands, so that we don't get caught by Maya. We beg you to practice our everyday life as an offering to you. And finally, we seek that ultimate grace for complete purification, so that we could see only your presence everywhere, your leelas in all happenings of life, and your blessings even in the worst happening, the worst suffering of life. Please bless us with eternal living. Jai Yogiram Saraswati.